Hi everyone, I'm Ryan, welcome back to the garage. I'm going to carry on trying to get that thing to start, and I've got a few things now which might help me. So I need to get this thing to run, and I don't know why it won't. So my plan is to create the Ryan's why the flip is it not starting action plan. I've been through your comments and suggestions, and I'm going to tick them off in what I think is a sensible order, and I'm going to work my way down until it either starts or I've determined what I'm going to do next. So it's been pointed out that my starter is slow. Yeah, good point. Weak battery, maybe my starter motor's on its way out, so I'm going to fit a proper battery, maybe look at the starter motor. After that I'm going to move on to the carbs. I was sent a carb cleaning guide, so I'm going to work my way down through that. I don't have ultrasonic as an option. I haven't found anywhere local, but let's move forward. Check the carbs. Once I've done those two, I'm going to move on to the spark plugs. Are they getting wet was a regular question. I actually don't know. Can I replace them? Well, I've ordered a set, but they haven't arrived yet. Hopefully they'll be here maybe today. Try heating them. So we'll rule out spark plugs. We'll move on to oil leaks, or air leaks. Timing, compression. Do I have a problem? Is it the rings? Is it valves? Don't know. Finally, fuel. So starting at the top, working my way down. Let's see where we get. So to begin with, I've received the battery I've ordered for the bike, 7 amp hour. So that's certainly going to help me start it. If it still turns over lazy once that's on and fully charged, I'm going to try stripping down the starter motor, greasing it up, and seeing if that will help. Equally, a gentleman called Steve Graham kindly sent me a PDF document detailing the cleaning procedure for this particular bike, not in general but specifically. And there's a couple of bits in this instructions which I think I was missing on my previous attempts to clean the carbs. Notably, details here about a little hole which needs to be clean in the top part of the carburetor that I'd not noticed, and crucially this also details that there is in fact a jet buried down inside the carburetor that although I'd looked for it, I'd not noticed before. So I think that could be crucial. So with that in mind, I'm going to get the carbs off again and check those details. First things first, overalls and gloves. Not for any protection, just because I'm cold. Would you blinking well know. So the guide that I was sent pointed out that there's little tiny holes down here which I had not noticed. I'm going to make sure that I clear those out on both. They might make a difference. Then I'll move on to the next hidden jet. So the guide's telling me there is another jet down inside here which I was unaware of. I need to try and get it out. So in practical terms, that is down inside here, but that screwdriver is not going to get a good grip on it. That's too narrow, too small, and I don't have anything which is the right thickness to fit inside that hole. So I'm going to take an older screwdriver and I'm going to grind it down and make that a nice tight fit, because I think that's the only thing I can do. Yeah, there is a jet well hidden down inside this car. And that is certainly looking pretty dirty to begin with. Let's work out where the air passage is meant to be. I think I can just about make out 3 holes on the side of that which are not clear. Definitely wouldn't have helped anything. So this jet deep inside the carb I think is directly responsible for idle, and it seems completely blocked, so that is likely to have been the cause. As much as anything I've found so far, that's certainly not helping, so let's get that cleaned up. Right, carbs back on the bike. Optimistically, I've put the rocker cover back on as well. So next I'm going to move on to the battery, which has been on charge for a number of hours. So that should be right ready to roll. And then see if we can fit that in the cage here. And see if anything happens. Okay, so the battery's now connected directly to the bike. I've still got the battery charger connected in with an auxiliary battery just because it will only help, and it will charge it in between. So with that, let's see if we've got some ignition, and if I just touch the starter, I've got no fuel, it's not going to start, but what's it going to turn over? Okay, that sounded much faster, a lot better than we had before, so clearly that battery's helping. Good. Let's get some fuel in it. So, proper battery fitted. Yep, done. One thing I'm going to do is this starter motor still seems lazy to me, so I'm going to whip it off. It's under there. I'm going to whip that off. Just make sure it's all greased up. I mean, that feels pretty hot after a short attempt, so just going to give it maybe a bit of an overhaul. Okay, so here's the starter motor out. I mean, it seems to turn quite freely as far as I can determine, so but it looks to me like it should come apart, and I'm sure this thing's not seen any maintenance or grease in years, so let's see what I can do. We're trying to get these undone is proving somewhat complicated. That does not want to move. So, I'm thinking next we might bring out the impact driver. See if that has any effect. Let's just damage the thread. Right, so I was trying to test my starter motor, and it seems to rotate freely by hand, but interestingly, when I just connected a battery up to it, and I was expecting it out of the bike to simply rotate, it doesn't. So this is 12 volts. That's doing sparking. That's not just spinning. Why is that not just spinning? That suggests to me there is a big problem with this starter motor, which definitely won't be helping. Okay. Unfortunately, I've only got one, so there's not a huge amount I can do about it. That must have been a knackered test battery, because I've just reconnected it into the bike on its new battery, and it's clearly turning over. So well, the starter motor's working. It might not be ideal, it might be the best, but I can't do anything to improve it now, so let's carry on. So back to my list. Starter motor, well, I've done what I can with it. Okay, so just before I test the carb, the next test is spark plugs. Are they getting wet? Good question. So I've taken them out before I begin, made sure they're all dry, and I'm going to put them in, try and start the bike. If it starts, I celebrate. If it doesn't, I check to see if the plugs are getting wet. So next step. Okay, so cleaned carb, new battery, choke, bit of throttle, and choke, full throttle. Right, so we have backfire then, and I can see the choke flapping under the inlet pressure, so that's interesting. So I'm getting the choke butterfly moving slightly with each compression stroke. So that suggests compression's doing something at least. Fire. Let's try and no choke. Throttle. Getting a sound. It smells a bit fuely. One more time. Full throttle. Right, let's check the spark plugs. So here they are, and they are not obviously wet. A bit of tissue. There's not a lot on that at all. So that suggests it's still not getting fuel. Okay. We'll try a quick squirt of quick start, easy start, into the cylinders before I put the plugs back. See if that does anything. Right. Let's try that now. Bit of throttle and go. Yes, you might go. And we go. Definitely got something it should have ignited in the cylinders. So let's try a little squirt of this on the cobs. Let's give that another go. That suggests no spark, or back to no compression. Okay, keep going down the list. Right, one more test. Make sure I've got spark. Definitely spark. Reconnect that. Choke, throttle, again. So back to the spark plugs. They don't seem to be getting wet, which to me seems to be fuel. But I'll come back to that. Replace them. Yeah, I ordered a set, but they haven't arrived, which is frustrating. And heat them up. So, well, with that in mind, let's dangle them in front of a hot fire for 10 minutes, and then try that. See if that makes any magical difference. Not expecting it, but we'll see. So, hot plugs straight off the fire, and topped up fuel. Choke. Okay, one suggestion was to disconnect this wire, the black and white one, from the CDI unit, because I think that's the kill switch. So make sure it's disconnected, check for continued spark. Yep. Definitely getting spark. Was before, still am. Continue testing. Right, so moving down, we've done spark plugs. Heating them didn't make a difference. I'm annoyed that they're not getting obviously wet, but I still think that might be compression related. The Woodruff key is not broken, I've checked that, that's obvious. Leaks, again, I've checked it, but I'll keep an eye out. I'm going to move down to compression. I think I'm going to do some compression tests now as they are, then I'm going to try adding some oil, see if that makes any difference. So let's get on with that. So, left hand cylinder, nothing added, no oil, full throttle and go. That seems a little weak to me. That is, oh, where's the markers? 50, 60, 70, 80 PSI. Okay, left hand cylinder again. Some oil's been dribbled down the spark plug, and same test, full throttle and try. Interesting. Obvious improvement. Obvious improvement. So that tells me that my rings aren't sealing, which I'd expect to improve after it's ran in for a bit. What if I put fuel in it now? Okay. Alright, I'll do a compression test on the right hand side, then I'm going to put the plugs back in. Okay, so now right hand side with some oil added into the cylinder, and we got okay, 100. Again, clear improvement, big improvement on this side. It's my rings. Okay, let's add some fuel now. So I've artificially increased the compression with a small amount of oil in the cylinders. I've put a bit of easy start into the put a little bit of easy start in the carbs. I'm going to try it now, give it some choke, see if I get anything. It ran for seconds, but it ran. Not even seconds, a second. It's the first time I've had any life out of it. Okay, right, try it again. Choke. Ooh. Combination, compression and fuel. Or maybe the compression was preventing it from pulling fuel. Don't know. Keep going. Keep going. Getting closer. Quick try with a bit of battery assistance from the Transalp. creamer in the carbs. Okay, so I can't get it to fire again. It did fire after I dribbled oil into the cylinders and the compression reading was noticeably higher. I think that's my fundamental problem. Anything else I'm doing, I'm chasing my tail. I'm not going to be ultimately successful. I'm going to bite the bullet, I'm going to start stripping it down and see if we can't work out the problem. So I'm freezing cold, but I'm going to make a start tonight, see where I get to. Well, taking apart the engine becomes a lot easier when you've done it a few times. That hasn't taken long. And I got it stripped down. And much to my surprise, what I have found immediately is that these piston rings are not free. So when I put them in, they were sprung out and they moved freely. Now, they don't appear to be. They almost feel like they're stuck in the pistons, and that's on both of them. So that will certainly be why I don't have good compression, but I don't understand why. So I'm going to carefully remove these, get them up on a bench, get somewhere a bit warmer because I am freezing cold, and have a good look at them. So let's see. Okay, having warmed up and eaten, now I can sit in here in the warmth and try and understand why these piston rings are stuck and not moving freely. So looking at both of these pistons, they're both exactly the same. And by that I mean none of the three rings are moving freely. And if I try and find the ring and gap, I mean it's there. It's absolutely minuscule. I mean, you know, it's almost as if there's not enough gap, which I don't believe to be the case. So I'm gonna try and just get these free, and then see if there's any obvious reason. Okay, so I've managed to remove the oil control ring, which, other than a small amount of oil on it, looks perfectly good. But these two top rings, the piston gap there is so, the ring end gap there is so small, I'm really struggling to get anything to free it back up again. I'm not sure how I'm going to get this out. Proper stuck. And the second one down, I can't even see the end gap on it. It must be there. Nice and clean. Okay, so that's the one I've been cleaning up, and you can now see it's nice and clean in all the grooves, and that is essentially the before. That's the other one that I haven't cleaned up yet. So I think I underestimated the attention needed to clean up the piston. because I think in there's just some build up which is then just gripping on the rings. So I'm going to concentrate on both of them until I'm sure they're perfect. This clearly needs quite a bit of cleaning. Get them back till they're both looking something closer to that, and then let's try again. Okay, so that's both of them cleaned up as well as I possibly can. It's taken me a while, and I've just done a test fit with the old rings, and they go in and they rotate cleanly and easily. So let's try and put the proper rings back on it and see how they feel. Okay, all reassembled, cleaned up, put back on, rings back on, and now certainly if I compress them tight, they still all move freely and spring straight back out again. So there is definitely no reason for those rings to get stuck now. Everything rotates, all three rotate, and they spring back out again. Gaps are opposite each other, so I've got one there, one there. I've got the little tiny symbols pointing upwards. Where's the gap here? One there, one there. So they're different if I rotate it further. So I think they're ready to be reassembled into the head. So I'm going to now try and get these pistons back inside the barrels very carefully, and then attach the gudgeon pins to this once they're in place. So let's give this a go. Right, it's the next day and I've got a couple of hours, so let's see if I can get this rebuilt and let's see if it's made any difference. Fingers crossed. Okay, so she's going back together and I'm just at the point of mechanically timing it up. So there is my T, directly in line with the marking on the crank. There's my mark on the crankshaft pointing straight up, and there's the two lines directly in alignment with the case. So I've already turned it over a couple of times, everything lines back afterwards. I'm confident that's right. Carry on. Okay, so she's mostly reassembled. Before I put any ignition on it, I'm just going to turn it, I've turned it over by hand. I'm just going to push the crank it a couple of times, make sure I get good oil pressure. So let's see what happens. Okay, so not much yet. Let's try again. There we go. There's the oil. Both sides. Excellent. Good. Oil pressure's good. Right, let's carry on. Okay, she's back together. No carbs, no ignition, no exhaust yet. But we can do a compression test. I'm nervous as hell. I have no idea what this is going to do. Okay, ignition on. Let's go. It's the bloody same. I was expecting that to be so much higher. Oh. side. Okay, so left hand side, see if there's any improvement. Stubbornly the same. Well, I'm bitterly disappointed. Having found those stuck piston rings, cleaned them up, sorted them out, put them back, I felt confident that was going to resolve my low compression. And so as such, because it was such an obvious problem, I didn't clean up the valves, and so I think I'm going to have to take the head off again, reseat the valves, because I'm as confident as I can possibly be it's not piston rings, and that's the only other likely cause now. So with that, I'm definitely out of time this weekend. I've spent a lot of time on this. I'm disappointed. Please give me any encouragement you can. Like, subscribe, share this channel, and I will carry on, I will persist, I will win. But for now, that's all. Thank you. Goodbye.